Okay, guys, today we're going to talk about permutations, okay? And the objective, the thing that we're trying to do is we want to be able to use permutations to find the total number of possibilities for something to happen, okay? And I'm going to use this one for an example here in just a second. But first, we see a permutation is an arrangement of objects in which the order is important. Order matters, okay? So for instance, if we had three letters, A, H, and T, okay, how many A, H, and T. Now when I talk about a combination, I only have one combination, right? I've got three letters, A, H, and T. But when I start talking about the permutations, that means what order I can put them in. You'll see there's actually going to be six different, right? I've got AHT, it could be ATH, it could be THA and TAH, and then HTA and HAT, hat, right? So I've got three letters, just one combination, right? But then I've got six different ways that I can write that combination. All right, now let's talk about this for just a minute before I go into n factorial. Let me take, nice job, guys. Just for those of you watching, I just ripped the headphones off my head. All right, okay, I'm going to take, you know what, I'm going to take these four guys right here for just a second. All right, I've got Eric, I've got Will, I've got Benny, and CC. All right, now that's just one combination of guys. All right, these four guys. Now the permutations that I can use, I could have Will first, then Eric, then CB, then Benny. Or I could have Will, Eric, Benny, then CB. Or I can have Will, CB, Eric, and Benny. Or I can have Will, CB, Benny, then Eric. Okay? Then I could have Will and Benny, then CB and Eric. And I could have Will, then Benny, and Eric, and CB. And that's all the different permutations with just Will being first. Okay? And in fact, the possible combinations for that is 24. And I'll show you how we get to that in just a moment. I'm sorry, I think I said combinations, but I meant permutations. I had one combination of four guys, and I can order them in 24 different ways. Now think about this. If I said that I was going to give you guys a test or something like that, and I was going to give the top three scores a blue ribbon. Max, does order matter? If I said I'm going to give the top three guys a blue ribbon, does it matter which order I give them in? No. But what if I said I was going to give a prize for first, second, and third, Jackson? Now does order matter? Yes. Okay. So to find out the different ways that I can get blue ribbons when order doesn't matter, that's called a combination. Okay? To find out how many different ways I can hand out first, second, and third, that's a permutation because order is going to matter. Because the second person, the order is not, the second person is not going to get the same thing as the first person. Okay, so order matters. All right, now guys, I want you to look at this. Let's talk about n factorial for a moment. For any positive integer n, okay, the product of the integers from 1 up to n is called n factorial, and it's written as n with an exclamation point. It's not just an excited letter. Okay, it means something. So for instance, 5 factorial, 5 with the exclamation point, means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that gives us a number. In fact, that would give us 120. Okay? Now, a note down here that we need to make sure that we know, the value of 0 factorial, that's 0 with an exclamation point, this equals 1. Okay? And we need to know that 0 factorial equals 1. Okay? And then one last thing for us to look at before we move on, and that's this part right here. I'm going to write this a little bit bigger because it's hard to see. But when we have two numbers written below the P like that, it means we want to find the permutations for 5 things when we're only choosing 3. Okay? So if I had 5 guys and I was only going to choose 3 to give the first, second, and third place, how many different permutations can I have? Here's how I find out. And I'm going to tell you on the next part of the introduction.